Good evening! Thank you so much for your patience here. I want to welcome everybody to the world premiere of Found Footage 3D! I couldn't be more excited to unveil this film for the very first time to an audience. I go back a long time with one of the film's producer, Scott Weinberg. And yes, big round of applause for Scott. We all know him, we all love him, we all retweet him. Scott made me aware of this film many months ago, and I was lucky enough to be one of the first people to see it. And I'm not so sure what my expectations were going into this movie. It is a found footage film, and it's in 3D. I wasn't sure how to wrap my head around it, but I was absolutely blown away by the film. And from the very first moment, I expressed my love for it. I was open to supporting these guys in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I always expressed. We've never done a world premiere at this festival. We're 3 years in, and you know, we were lucky enough to get it. And I couldn't be any more grateful for having this here and for being able to show it to you guys for the very first time. I want to thank our sponsors first and foremost before we get this underway. Obviously, Stars and their hit original series Ash vs. Evil Dead. The Great Shudder. How fucking awesome was Sam Zimmerman with Fred Decker? What a great Q&A. And of course, the very awesome Bloody Disgusting. They've been live streaming this fest all weekend and killing it for us. And again, I couldn't be any more grateful. So, without further ado, I want to welcome the director, Mr. Steven DeGennaro.
Hi.
This is your show?
Dude, this is great, man. So about 4.5 years ago, I was browsing through a bookstore and I stumbled across a book about how to raise money for films. And I walked home, I went home and I walked into my bedroom. I turned to my wife and I'm like, is it completely fucking insane for me to think that I can just go out and ask strangers to give me a whole shitload of money to go make a movie and then only pay them back if the movie turns out good? And she's like, yeah, that's really fucking insane. And so I did it anyway. And I'm glad I did. And here we are, 4.5 years later, and there's a whole bunch of people that I don't know who really want to see my movie, and that's still blowing my mind. So thank you to Josh and to the festival and to Bruce and to everybody. And we'll come up obviously for a Q&A afterward. And thank you guys all for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the movie.
Put your glasses on. All right, we've got some cast and crew here in attendance. Steven, do you want to make the introductions? Congratulations.
Sure. Let's calm down, guys. We've got our entire cast here. Scott Allen Perry, Jess Perrin, Tom Taparito, Chris O'Brien, Leah Mostroheim, and of course Carter Roy. And of course, Scott Weinberg. We also have
Scott, grab that mic.
I gotta pee, I'm gonna be back.
Yeah, I do too, man. Hold it. Our producer Charles Mulford, my partner in crime, producer David Casson-Fried, and my wife, also producer Wendy Ludwig, and the youngest credited crew member on the film, who is should be coming up here pretty soon.
The film would have been done a year ago.
Assistant Dr. Gennaro, Julian Robert Elias Gennaro. That's him. That's my little baby boy.
Thank you all for
He's
staying.
here and crying a little bit. Anyways, yeah. Did I forget anybody?
No, wait.
And Cassidy Schapp is here as well. She's done a whole shit with stuff. She edited our behind the scenes things. She's managed our social media for a while, and she's just been a huge help this week. So thank you, Tessie.
Okay.
I think everybody wants to go pee.
So I'll start this off, and then we can go directly to the audience and start taking questions. So Steven, what was the found footage movie where you were just like, fuck it, I gotta make this movie? Was there one film in general that you watched and you said, in terms of just, well, are you a found footage fan?
Obviously, yes, of course I'm a found footage fan. I mean, you know, I worked at a movie theater when Blair Witch came out, and we screened it the night before it was released to test the print, and watched it in an empty theater with me and 2 other employees at midnight, and it fucking scared the piss out of me. And I don't get scared very easily. You know, I've obviously seen, like you guys have seen a shit ton of horror movies, and that just unnerved me. I went home that night, and I lived by myself in this little dead-end street, and it was a summer town, and this was, you know, it was empty at this point. And I was just kind of like, I slept with the lights on because I was just completely fucking freaked out. So that started it, and then, you know, obviously, I mean, there's been a lot of great ones since then, and as we point out liberally, throughout the movie, a lot of shit ones as well. So it was a fun thing to do because we got to sort of pay homage to the good ones, and hopefully, you know, make fun of the shit ones.
Let's take this to the audience. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of fun questions here. And what I'm going to do is, because we only have 3 microphones, I think I'm going to pass this off. I'm just going to take myself out. But any questions?
I just want to say, like, I've seen a lot of found footage horror films, and this is definitely the best I've ever seen. So you've topped the Blair Witch and all that.
Thank you.
I would be part of, you know, horror movie history now.
Jesus.
That's tremendous.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna cry.
You know,
Hey, we mentioned among the better found footage movies, then I think we'll all be satisfied, because there are so many that are weak. There are a certain, like, what, 10 or 15 percentile that are very good, and if we could be, you know, mentioned alongside those, then I'm happy.
yeah, I just, you know,
As long as people like it.
It's like I
It doesn't
said,
have to be the best.
I just said, hey, I can just ask people for money and go make a fucking movie. And this whole experience is still so surreal to me that, like, people, like, want to see my movie and are, like, tweeting about it, and people are commenting on articles about how the movie looks bad, and other people that I don't know are defending my movie against people that I don't know, and it's just a very weird sort of surreal experience. So it's great to hear shit like that. And, you know,
I saw him get an erection when you asked him that question.
It's 3 days, so it just...
Yeah. Well, and this is the first time we've screened this movie for an audience, so, and this is the first
Comment.
bit of feedback we've had.
First public comment ever.
Yeah.
So who
Let's
hated
stop the
it?
Q&A right here. Yeah.
I mean, you know, obviously, everybody deserves good credit for this, man, because we had a fucking great cast of people, and they were great to work with, and really fun.
I would personally like to congratulate Stephen and Charles for finding these, not including me. The 6 cast members, I think, are absolutely fantastic. I'm so proud and so excited to see these guys up on the big screen. All 6 of them are fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Well, we just found a casting director. Credit for that,
Oh, yeah, yes.
but I absolutely agree. All are amazing.
Questions? Yes.
Before she went crazy with the hammer, I noticed she didn't have any cuts or the bandage, and then right before she hit him, it was back. Was there a reason for that?
Yes.
And we fired our script supervisor.
Unbelievable. It's true. What he just said is true.
Not only for that reason.
Yes. So let's
Good
yes.
eye.
That is a very good eye.
Good eye, mate.
Are, I tried to make a movie that rewards multiple viewings. And I hope it was good enough on the first time that people will want to watch it more times. But if you go back and watch it again, there are little things I hope that you will catch sort of like that sort of are clues as to sort of what is going on and what the specter is and what's sort of ultimately happening in the film.
So personally, one of my favorites there is the first scene that Mark and Amy have together, where they're talking about where they're watching the footage. the first clip is actually from the thing that happens way late, like from the night when her arm gets cut. That's one of my favorite Easter eggs.
You were mentioning kind of rewatching this. How are you guys going to release this after it's been in movie theaters? Like, are you going to be able to do that in 3D somehow?
I mean, you know, that depends a lot on the distributor. We have not sold the movie as of the moment, and so, you know, you can help us out by tweeting about how awesome you thought it was,
That stuff really does matter. It really helps. If you like the film, go on Twitter and Facebook and say so. If you didn't, shut the fuck up.
Well, and thanks to virtual reality technology, I think, you know, home 3D experiences are going to be more and more prevalent. So
Yeah, I already watched this trailer. Please, I'm an actor. I'm obnoxiously loud already. When I watched this trailer at my parents' house, they've got like a 3D capable TV, and it was simulated 3D. It was not quite the same. So to finally see it though in actual 3D, it's just awesome. But for whatever it's worth, it was pretty damn good. Seeing it on the simulated 3D was still pretty damn good. And you know, it seems like that's becoming much more and more of a trend. So.
encourage people to come see it in the theater, really. Answer that question.
We're kind of hoping that's part of the appeal, is that like, if it's a low budget horror film, a lot of times maybe you'd wait, you know, oh, maybe I'll rent it, but like, did you think the 3D worked? Because I'm generally not a big fan of 3D. If you read my stuff, you know I'm not. And I thought the 3D worked really well.
Real quick, of all the things, the jump scares, the arms coming out, my single favorite moment of 3D is the dust coming out of the film in the barn.
Much like
I gotta give a shout out to our director of photography, Drew Daniels. I talked a lot about 3D, but he was always thinking about it, and you know, to me, even now, I've seen it, you know, probably a dozen times in 3D, and just some of those shots just still just like the way he framed them with these just layers of depth. Just, I don't know, I thought it was really cool. I can't take credit for that.
He's a hero. Drew Daniels is a brilliant DJ. He'll be huge in a couple of years. You watch him.
He was named one Variety's 10 cinematographers to watch.
Well, there you go. I don't read Variety.
Yeah, that was really fucking funny.
Thank you.
Backgrounds in comedy?
Yes. Most of us. That's the entire answer.
That's all you.
Zap.
What was the question? No, I think everybody was pretty good at ad-libbing. Like, part of the whole process of auditioning was, you had to basically do the scene that was written, and then kind of go off of it. And actually, Carter and I guess it was like the finals or whatever. Carter and I were thrown into a room together, never met each other, and I think we ad-libbed kind of that whole scene in the van then, in the audition, where it's like, you brought us, wait, there's like, you know, you bring these to a haunted house, that whole shtick. I don't know where the cocoon line came from, that's probably from auditioning. But I mean, everybody, I think they were all funny, so.
Yeah, and it's a testament to you know, Stephen, how he set it up, making sure that everybody had the space to play, which is not always the case, of course, in any project. But so I think a lot of the humor comes from the fact that we had time and space to play, and he was very adamant about good chemistry. He actually wanted us to live in the house.
There's actually another 2 hour probably worth of just us screwing around on set, doing like little character improvised moments.
I can tell you this right now. So on the DVD, I guarantee you, there will be probably a 5-minute reel of this dude over here just fucking saying funny shit. And there will be a 5-minute reel of Scott Weinberg saying funny shit, which kind of surprised me. Not that I don't think Scott is funny, but like I was a little nervous because Scott has only been in a couple of other movies.
Not an actor.
He's not an actor. And so I got him out there, and I was a little worried that first day, and then he gave me so much big stuff that like his original part in my first cut was like 15 minutes of just him, like them taking him through the house and showing him how they're shooting the movie in 3D.
He cut out all the stuff. I had a huge crush on Amy, and they cut all that. I'm so embarrassed.
We had to sort of get to the ending a little bit quicker, but a lot of that's going to end up hopefully.
I can say that a lot of the reason that any of this stuff works, though, is that, yeah, we got to ad-lib a lot and play a lot, but Steven was very good about keeping us on, yeah, like, because if you just, a lot of times if you just ad-lib, yeah, you got a lot of funny shit, but then you forget what the hell you're watching. It's like, what were we talking about, Daniel?
It becomes impossible to just keep consistent, but you can still track well with that.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for our leading ladies? For Jessica? Or
for one. And never everything. I'm pointing at him. Yep.
There you go.
I guess my question for the leading ladies is how you got so awesome.
Oh, Jesse, go first.
My real question is, so a lot of the scenes like with the mirror and the exploding body in the kitchen were really amazing.
Yeah.
But this was all done like in just an existing house. There was no sets built or studios.
This is a real house that felt very haunted. We didn't have to pretend any of the scary. It was already kind of there.
Terrifying pickle.
Yeah, no, I mean it was all that there's a little blurb of the spiders there, and that was we were very fed by our environment. We didn't have to kind of make anything up.
I have to give a shout out to our production designer.
Yeah.
Because while that cabin did exist, there's a guy that actually lives in that cabin. In fact, he's one of the two guys that's sitting on the porch of the bar. The other one is the mayor of Gonzales, Texas.
My favorite scene. Total Time was my favorite scene.
No, I'm talking about at the bar when they go
Oh,
to the
that
bar
one.
later on. Yeah. So, but you know, so the house existed, and this guy was not the neatest person in the world, and so some of the cobwebs
He was a hoarder.
were real. He's kind of a hoarder. So his house was just filled with junk, just completely up to the rafters. And so the Claire, our production designer, and the whole art crew had to come in and clear all that shit out. And then they brought in all the fucking creepy dolls and the ironing board and the bed and all the other shit that's in there. And then so except that like the bottles, it was great. It's like the bottles across the top of the kitchen, those were there on the set already. And so Claire brought a lot of that stuff, and some of it was just stuff that Ken had in his house already.
The board set was there.
Yeah,
The board set was there.
No, the
right?
board set was not there. The board set came. The board set was
Justin.
Yeah, it was Justin Meeks, the guy who owns the cabin, who's the director of a movie called Butcher Boys and Wild Man of the Navidad. So it was his property, and he owns the house, and so he had this board.
Jessica never got to answer how she got so awesome.
How I got, well, working with you guys.
Oh, is she the scene stealer? Is she hilarious? There was so much gold. They're all great. She had so much gold. He was like, I don't know how much of Jessica we can put. We got so much.
And this is her first feature film.
First feature.
And I just wanted to say that I really love how the movie didn't take itself seriously, but still got me to take it seriously. I think that was really, really cool. And it was extremely intelligent, and the way everything connected and the way you did everything, I find it very hard to believe that another found footage is going to be able to beat this in intelligence. So I know that Blair Witch 2 is coming out, and I'm not even, I don't know how it's going to.
Blair Witch 3.
We're glad that it's out because we can just, if found footage is cool again for a little while, maybe we can get into the back door.
Maybe they'll just promote you, and then everybody will, this is the real one here. So great job.
Thank you.
They did start following us on Twitter last weekend, which I was very happy to see.
Blair Witch?
Yeah, Blair Witch, the official movie.
The Blair Witch.
Yeah, I agree with him. I'm actually no longer excited about Blair Witch at all.
We are recording this, right?
Are there any plans for sequels?
There might be now, Jesus.
Let's sell this one first.
Let's see how this one does first.
Well, you gotta have your ideas,
Of course, I spent 4 years making this movie. I have
got some good
a
ideas.
giant list of ideas.
Found footage 4D.
No, I think what we settled on is found footage 3D to 3D.
Two found, two footage.
Anybody up top?
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. She's not going to jump out and kill all of us.
Oh, behave! If you're lucky.
She's a sweetheart and nothing like her pain in the ass character.
She's a really good actor.
Promise.
Anybody?
Right here.
Last call.
Gentlemen
I
here.
think, I don't have a question to make a comment, but I thought the 3D worked better than, I mean.
Say Avatar.
For sure. Especially like the stuff with the computers and the film editing and stuff that was
That's all
going
him.
on. That was really awesome use of the 3D, all the depth and stuff that was in there. A lot of times when I watch 3D movies, it sort of like wears off after a while, but this movie sort of kept me engaged in the 3D aspects of it as well.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, Stephen, talk about how you pulled off the 3D in the monitors.
Yeah, well, so I mean, you know, the thing about the 3D in this, one of the reasons why I wanted to shoot this, and one of the reasons why I thought a found footage movie in 3D, which at that point had never been done before, you know, the Paranormal Activity movie came out, but they didn't shoot their movie in 3D, they just kind of did post-production.
Only a part of it and
Right.
post-production.
So one of the reasons that I thought that they were actually a much more natural fit than most people realize is because those 3D cameras, the depth of field, because we're shooting on camcorders, the depth of field is basically infinite. Meaning that everything that you see on the screen, especially on like those interview shots, everything's in focus. So you can look at the people that are sitting right here, or you can look at the swing behind them, or you can look at the gate behind that, or you can look at the trees behind that. Like I said, Drew sort of composed these shots with all that depth in it. And you can sort of decide where to look, as opposed to, you know, you go to a Hollywood movie, they don't really shoot it for 3D, you got the close-up of the person, and they're in focus, and the background's just this big sort of blurry mess, and like at that point, what's the point of 3D? So that was one of the cool things that when we first started testing, when Drew and I first started testing, it really just sort of was a thing that we wanted to make sure we shoot the camera as wide open as possible, to make sure that everything was in focus, and then let the audience sort of decide what it is.
Well, and Stephen figured out that he could put 3D glasses on the camera and then shoot the footage that we had already shot in 3D to allow the footage in the monitors to be 3D. And talk about how you did that with the like advanced glasses.
You just did.
There was more to it. You had to like solder some shit.
Also, that GoPro thing, that is legit. If
That
you
works?
That way you put the two things
Well,
together,
yeah.
sort of, right?
Sort of. You had to flip one of them upside down.
GoPro upside down and then revert it in post.
The way that they actually showed it in the thing, that wouldn't work. That would make
Right.
the frame just like completely freeze because they're too far apart. They flip one upside down and stick them next to each other. And so all that GoPro footage was actually just sort of shot and produced that way.
I have a question I would like to ask of our cast members. Stephen was smart enough to set up some time for you guys to all get together and kind of not only rehearse together, but just relax together and get to know each other for a week. It was 2 weeks, wasn't it? It was a week.
Yeah, 3-4 days.
How, and I think, personally, I'm biased, but I think that chemistry shows up on the screen. So how important was that for you guys to get that time to just chill, the six of you?
I think huge. Coming from a theater background, I think that's huge. That was awesome, man. That's a stupid answer.
Yeah, no, it's essential. If anybody is ever making a movie, and I mean, I know it's always tight with time and money and stuff, but like it always pays off in the back end to have those days. Obviously, just human beings and chemistry takes a couple days to break through the walls, and to get a chance to do that before diving into the script was just amazing.
Well, and we also had weekends. They stayed at an Airbnb. I'm from Austin, so it was kind of nice getting to spend time with them. And Scott actually lived in Austin, so we got to hang out and get to see things and show our city off. And I think that helped every weekend. We got crazier and crazier. So yeah. Yeah, we went and blew stuff up. Texas.
We're gonna say something.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's true. We're really lucky because, I mean, it's not often you get 6 strangers together and they all get along so well. And not just get along like, oh, I like you, like I don't want to tear your hair out and hit you or anything, but also just have a really just easy, natural way of communicating with each other and just a lot of fun with each other and hanging out and just talking, really. Honestly, a lot of time when we had downtime, it was a blast because one of us would be joking around and then the next one would jump in, and then next thing you know, all 6 of us were sitting there and Steve was like, we're trying to make a movie. We do.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be Airbnb in the city together.
They still all hang out together and they still don't agree to each
Wow, the sequel.
Oh no, I thought that was important to the process because there were a number of scenes in which there were 1 or 2 pages of just improv. That was it. Improv. ... I was like, what does that mean? We have a general idea.
They give you a situation, like, oh, I'm on a roller coaster
Right now.
and then the woman's pregnant.
This is why you died
You're
first.
also an Asian. That's what improv is.
That's what improv is. But in the actual script, it was really, truly just left up to us, and with the guidance of the story and the guidance of the characters. But we were absolutely expected to have these special relationships and have this kind of interaction. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, we're running a little bit late here, but I want to give a big, again, thank everybody so much. Big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
We are coming up next. We're running late, but we are screening The Greasy Strangler, a movie that, thank God, is not in fucking 3D, right? It's just
brace yourself.
Just prosthetic penises and more prosthetic penises, and even more prosthetic penises. So go see it. Again, big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Tell your friends.